In the darkest of times, when the world was collapsing under cruelty and hatred, one man made a choice. He could not stop the war. He could not defeat the Nazi army. He could not end human suffering. But he could do something. And that choice saved over 1,200 lives. This is the story of Oskar Schindler and the timeless Stoic lesson his life teaches us. Oskar Schindler was not a saint. He was a businessman, a man who loved wealth, parties, and influence. When World War II began, he saw an opportunity: factories, contracts, and cheap labor. To many, he looked like just another opportunist profiting from the chaos. But something changed. When he witnessed the brutal treatment of Jewish people, the illusion of profit and success suddenly seemed meaningless. He realized the world around him was beyond his control. He could not command armies or rewrite history. This is where Schindler's story takes on a deeply Stoic tone. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Schindler could not control the war. He could not control Nazi cruelty. But he could control his choice to act with justice, to use his position, his wealth, his influence, not for himself, but for others. Slowly, his factory stopped being just a factory. It became a refuge. While other businessmen exploited slave labor, Schindler spent his fortune protecting his Jewish workers. He bribed officers. He forged documents. He argued for essential workers just to keep them safe. Each decision carried risk. At any moment, he could have been executed, but he kept going, because he knew this was within his power. By the end of the war, Schindler was no longer a wealthy man. He had spent his entire fortune protecting lives. The businessman who once chased profit was now broke, but rich in something far greater: courage, justice, and humanity. And when the war ended, his workers, Schindler's Jews, honored him not as a factory owner, but as a savior. Here's the lesson: Schindler didn't control the war. He didn't control the Nazis. He didn't control whether the world would ever remember him, but he controlled his choice. In a storm of cruelty, he chose humanity. In a world of fear, he chose courage. In a time of silence, he chose to act. And that made all the difference. Oskar Schindler's story is not just history. It's a reminder. You don't have to control the world. You don't have to control others. You just have to control yourself, your choices, your actions, your values. Because sometimes doing what you can, no matter how small, can change the course of history. So the next time life feels overwhelming, remember Schindler's lesson. You don't need to control everything. You just need to control the one thing you always can: the choice to do the right thing, here and now.